All right. Okay. Hello and welcome. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day. My name's Christine Eckley, and today we will talk about just the basics of nutrition, and we will go through this PowerPoint just quickly, and I hope that you learn something. Please let me know if you have questions and share any feedback or anything that you might like to add. That would be lovely. And let's get right to it. So I think a lot of times, and myself included, we get kind of hung up on how the way a word or a phrase or a term makes us feel. And it might not even really be what that word or phrase even means. And I think that because we're emotional beings, we have a lot of feelings. And when things make us feel bad, we don't want to do them. We don't want to know about them. We don't want to, we want to pretend that it doesn't even exist. So some of the things that I think we often get hung up on are words like diet, nutrition, even what is healthy, calories, digestion seems kind of overwhelming, exercise is daunting, and I think that it is important to really know what these things mean. And so I have got the definitions for you. A diet is the kind of food that a person, animal, or community habitually eats. So oftentimes you think of the word diet and you think restricting, you think hunger, you think uncomfortableness, you think withdrawal, sadness, anger, frustration, resentment, all of those negative emotions. And really, a diet is just what you eat. It's what you naturally consume. It's basically just food. Your diet consists of food, and you might have a good diet and you might have a bad diet. You might need to work on your diet, but a diet isn't really anything but just the food that you eat. Nutrition is, again, kind of seems overwhelming. There's a lot of information out there. You don't really know what to believe. You try things, they don't really work. There's these magical pills and, whatever diets that are out there that, it's complex, and who remembers any of that stuff? Nutrition really is just the process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth. So nothing really to be scared of. It's just literally getting your diet. It's what's in your diet, providing your body with food to be healthy. Moving on. Healthy. It means to be in good health. In good health means the state of being free from illness or injury. So that's, I want a healthy lifestyle. Well, you probably have a more or less healthy lifestyle if you're not super sick or injured at the moment. You may want to have a healthier lifestyle. You may want to incorporate better foods into your diet so that you are better, giving your body better nutrition. Just trying to flip those words for you a little bit. This whole PowerPoint is really going to just be about common knowledge, facts, tips, tricks. We're going to go into just lots of fun things that I think are interesting and will help you learn something, and hopefully encourage you to learn more and to want to expand your knowledge and your awareness into these things. A calorie. What's a calorie? I've always been intimidated by calories. I never realized the importance of counting them. I never counted them It just always seemed very overwhelming to try to do all of that, and I never realized how important it was. You can't really lose. If you're trying to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. That's just the long and short of it. You need to be consuming less calories than your body burns, so then your body starts to burn fat. And we will get all into that. It will all come full circle. And please, if you have questions by the end of this, let me know. Reach out. I love just back and forth and discussing stuff and kind of opening each other's eyes. So a calorie is really just the energy needed to raise the temperature of a gram of water. It's a way we measure energy. So you're burning calories constantly. Even me sitting here talking to you is burning calories. You sitting there breathing and blinking, and though you are burning lower calories than I am and also burning low calories, we're still burning calories. It's just the way our bodies work. Digestion is the process of breaking down food by mechanical and enzymatic action in the alimentary canal into substances that can be used by the body. So when your body digests the food that you eat in your diet, it is able to break down these different parts of nutritionally valuable chemicals, enzymes, vitamins, nutrients, minerals, all of that good stuff. Exercise, the activity requiring physical effort carried out to sustain or improve health and fitness. So all of this stuff is kind of related, and it all, maybe you have different feelings towards these words than I do, but it's just interesting to note how they make you feel and what they actually are. Moving on. That's what I just said. How it all comes down to food and how you feel about it. So there's lots of things that you can take into consideration when asking yourself these questions. I think it's very important and very powerful to self-inquire, to ask yourself why. Why do I feel this way? And then keep going. Why? Why do I feel this way? Because it makes me sad. Well, why does it make me sad? Because I don't understand. Well, can I understand? What is your relationship with food? There are lots of different relationships that people can have with food, and this is also something that I didn't really take into consideration until just a few, probably months, and I have been on a healthy lifestyle kick for years, 5, 6 years. I didn't realize the intricate inner workings of the relationship that I have with food and how food makes me feel. And maybe you have a very love-hate relationship with food. Maybe you have a very healthy relationship with food and you understand that food is fuel and you eat food to fuel your body. Or maybe you're working on some other, stress eating, or people get bored, tired, they snack. All of those different things. Ask yourself, why am I eating this right now? Why does this taste so good? Why does it feel good to get really full? Why do I like that? Why do I not want to have leftovers? Because I feel like sometimes I overeat because I don't want to either put the leftovers away, or because I have already have plans for what I'm gonna make for dinner the next night, or and so I don't want to have too much leftover food, so I just eat it all right now, and that's not healthy necessarily. It's all about portions and how many calories are in the meal that you're eating, and in the food that you're eating. What do you know about food? What do you know about diet? What do you know about nutrition? What do you want to know more of? Because there's lots of different aspects. There's lots of interesting things, lots of things that you probably already knew and maybe forgot, and that's okay. We're going to go over some of that stuff today. What are your favorite foods? I just love food. I love good food. Let's see. I really like tacos. We're gonna have tacos tonight, and I'm really excited about that. I love probably a lot of bad food, processed food. I like candy. I like beer. But I also like a lot of healthy foods too. I love Brussels sprouts. I love avocados. I like pretty much any kind of fruit. I have only recently started to love salads, but I love salads. And especially right now, like sweet peppers and cucumbers and broccoli and ooh. Least favorite foods. I just said up until this point didn't really like lettuce, and even still don't put a lot of iceberg lettuce in my salads. I eat a lot of darker green lettuce. I don't like onions. You know, we're picky. Some people don't like sour stuff. Some people don't like spicy stuff. So just start asking yourself those questions. It's important to get to know yourself and understand those things. What do you think goes into creating this healthy lifestyle? What does that mean? Does that mean eating more natural and like organic food? Does that mean dieting? Does that mean, I don't know, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? And if you could figure out what that meant to you, would you do that? Is that something that you feel like you is worth exploring? Oh, all the yummy foods. Okay, so this is what I like to call, well, not just me, but I'm going to quote a few books in this recording, and they're also cited in here, I believe. And I would love to provide lists of resources for you. There is a resources slide, but if you need more, I can definitely give you some more. But many years ago, I read this book called The Happiness Diet, and the first I think chapter or two, maybe, they explain what this modern American diet is, and it's MAD, M-A-D, acronym MAD, the MAD diet. And I just always thought that was funny because this book is like all about happiness, and so the diet that we are used to consuming, acronym MAD, is the modern American diet, really does kind of make us less happy, and partially due to just processed foods and the low nutrient content, the high sugar content, and all of that jazz. So fun fact number one, drinking one soda, and I love a good Coca-Cola, don't get me wrong, drinking one soda is equal to the carbohydrates of 3.5 slices of bread. So next time you drink, like, you know, a big gulp, consider that you might be also taking in calories and carbs and all of that, equal to probably like a whole loaf of bread at that point. Why do we love processed food, though? Why do we love processed food so much? It usually means that there's a higher sugar content. And when your body ingests sugar, your blood sugar spikes. When your blood sugar spikes, your body releases insulin so that it can lower that blood sugar at a safer level. We don't want that much sugar in our blood. If the insulin brings your blood sugar level too low, so then it brings it too low, which often happens, your body, you need more, and it starts to crave those high processed sugary foods because it has a fast spike. So then you're constantly on this up and down and up and down, and that's why, you know, you eat a burger, a McDonald's burger, and you're super full, but an hour later, 2 hours later, you're starving again because there's literally no nutrients in there, and now your blood sugar is all jacked and you need to, you know, try to regulate it. And you know, this is also something that can lead to early onset diabetes, and it's just really not, it's really hard on your body to try to regulate the blood sugar levels with your insulin, and you don't want to mess with your body's natural way to regulate that. This was interesting. I figured this out the other day, and goes into this fluctuation of blood sugar. The bliss point, what is the bliss point? It is, quote unquote, this is definition of bliss point, the amount of an ingredient such as salt, sugar, or fat, which optimizes deliciousness. Pioneering work on the bliss point was carried out by an American market researcher and psychophysicist, Howard Moskowitz, known for his successful work in product creation and optimization for foods ranging from spaghetti sauce to soft drinks. They describe this bliss point as the sensory profile where you like food the most, and that's why you come back and crave it. Just eating food creates these pleasure points, and it also has a lot of sugar. You're doing this with your blood sugar levels, and so you're craving these foods that you think are maybe good for you or taste really good, and they're actually not doing anything for you. The bliss point for salt, sugar, or fat is a range within which perception is that there is neither too much nor too little, but just the right amount of saltiness, sweetness, or richness. The human body has evolved to favor foods delivering these tastes. The brain responds with a reward in the form of a jolt of endorphins, remembers what we did to get that reward, and makes us want to do it again. An effect run by dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter. Combinations of sugar, fat, and salt act synergistically and are more rewarding than any one alone. In food product optimization, the goal is to include 2 or 3 of these ingredients at their bliss point. So, like, for real, they have figured out what makes us crave this stuff the most. That's why we crave it the most. It's not that you're bad or you're wrong or you're no different and no worse than any of us. It's just now you know. Now you know they're doing this to us on purpose. I hate that. Now, yummy foods. Oh, can you see the eggs? Maybe you can't see the eggs. I'll move me down here. I might have to move that thing again too. Okay, so these are all yummy, yummy, yummy foods, heart-healthy foods. These are foods that are high in good fats and proteins and dense in nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and they include, things like eggs and salmon and lean beef, fruits, vegetables, nuts, eggs in particular. And we're going to talk about eggs quite a bit right this second because, first of all, they're delicious, and I think that they get a bad rap. Coming from somebody who has high cholesterol and a family history of heart disease and high cholesterol in particular, I, was often told that, you shouldn't eat eggs, don't eat the yolks, which are the best part. And, just all of this misinformation, a lot of good information in the happiness diet about eggs. And in fact, we will go a little deeper in just a second. But did you know eggs contain the highest quality food protein known? All parts of an egg are edible, including the shell, which has a high calcium content. Do not just go eat a raw eggshell. They need to be washed and baked and ground down, but you can add them to a lot of stuff. They're also really good if you add them to plants. Also coffee grounds, good for plants too. But beside the point, okay, we're gonna take an actual excerpt from the happiness diet because there's no way I could even make this up. So what if, this is on page 84, what if we could create the perfect brain food? One that could fix the problems in the mad way of life, the modern American diet. What would it look like? Let's pretend for a minute and imagine this magical food. For starters, we'd want to load it up with B vitamins since those have been stripped from refined carbohydrates. Let's begin with B6 since it's most crucial for all your cognitive functions. Next, we'd toss in some B12, the vitamin that is so important that true vegetarians often need to take a supplement. B12 is crucial for avoiding agitation and loss of focus. Together, these two vitamins would do a lot to lift fatigue across America. They'd also go a long way towards boosting memory and treating nervousness and depression. Next, we'd add B9, also known as folate. Not only will this nutrient protect your brain, but it will lower homocysteine levels in the blood, which are high levels. High levels are one of the best predictors of cognitive decline. B9 will even protect our DNA from damage, something that leads to the genesis of cancerous tumors. It makes sense as well to toss in another essential element of happiness, iodine, the element that is central to our metabolism's master switch, the thyroid. We should next add the trace minerals that have been stripped from America's soil by the monoculture crops of corn, soy, and sorghum. So let's add magnesium, since it's the mineral that will loosen up our muscles and relax our circulatory systems, helping us focus on the tasks at hand and daily life. Next up is zinc, a mineral that improves brain function and helps B9 regulate our gene expression so that we stay healthy. We should add iron to this wonderful food too. This trace metal will boost our body's ability to transport oxygen around our bloodstream and further increase energy and focus. Since we have all of these B vitamins and iron, let's add a complete protein with lots of tryptophan so that we will have the basic ingredients for the most important mood regulating neurotransmitters like serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. Now, even though it's not found in many foods, let's get creative and add some vitamin D. It's something most of us are deficient in as we changed our relationship with the sun. Clearing up this deficiency will severely lower more than a dozen of the most deadly cancers, among many other ailments. Let's see what else. How about some cholesterol? Yes, that's a great idea, since that's what your body uses to manufacture vitamin D from the sun. So we'll be working twofold to clear up this deficiency. Cholesterol is also crucial because its main component of bile, which is what your gut will use to absorb this amazing amount of nutrients we're combining in order to make this miracle food. Lastly, let's throw in some omega-3s, since we all know that these fats make us smarter and protect us from heart disease. Wait, one more thing. For good measure, let's have Mother Nature design this food. It gives me chills, guys. We know she works in mysterious ways that we often subvert when we try to outsmart our genius. You've just read the nutritional profile of a standard barnyard egg, a nutritional powerhouse that's created by nature when a hen lives a normal life foraging around a farm. That does not mean that those are all the nutrients that you're going to get from your local grocery store, white eggs, because we know that those aren't necessarily the same chickens, but I would encourage you to try a farm fresh egg. Try, look in your local community for people that have chickens. It's becoming a very popular part of life, a very popular way of life. We are going to get ducks, and I'm super excited to eat those eggs. Or if you can get free range eggs from the grocery store or from Whole Foods or places like that, I promise you, the first time you eat one, you will taste the difference, and they are so good for you. I encourage you to try to eat them lots of different ways. I like my eggs anyway. Always anyway. Okay. So moving on, the last fun fact about, oh, nope, that's it about eggs. Fresh, the thing about vegetables, right? Fruits, vegetables, and all of this stuff, really, eggs included. Fresh is most ideal, but not necessarily best, depending on your restrictions. So if you are limited in time, if you're limited in resources, if you're limited in energy, and you have access to frozen or canned vegetables, it's better to eat more regardless of the way that they're prepared or packaged than to not eat them at all. So just because all you have is canned corn, don't opt to not eat corn, to not eat any vegetables, because that's the only thing you have. Definitely still eat the canned corn. Come on. Okay, science class. This was super fun for me to put together because I just don't remember this stuff. I just don't remember this stuff. So I'll move myself once more. Do you remember everything that you learned in school about how the human body works? Me either. But you don't have to, because I'm going to explain it to you right now. And if you want to do a little Googling, it's not as complex as you might think or you might remember. It really just consists of your mouth, your stomach, your intestines, these auxiliary organs, including your pancreas and your gallbladder. And we know where it all ends, okay? So we'll go through this just really quickly, because I think it's not necessarily a big part of this, but once we understand sort of how the system works, we can better equip ourselves with providing healthy options and a better diet. Chewing, that's number one. Okay, that's your mouth. That is your teeth. That is your saliva. That's your swallowing. Mechanical digestion with your tongue and your teeth. Did you know that you create 1.5 liters of saliva a day? That's disgusting. Peristalsis. I'm terrible at these scientific words. Is the force of movement down the esophagus. So not just necessarily swallowing, but as it continues to go down the esophagus, the food pulls down into your stomach. And your stomach is where it begins the chemical digestion with acid and fluid between 1 and 3 pH. It starts to break down proteins. Food moves through the pyloric sphincter to the small intestine. This is so when your stomach makes that noise, right? So whether it's hungry or you've just eaten, that noise is called barborgymous. Barborgymous, something like that. It's the sound that your stomach that is made when the pyloric sphincter opens and food moves down from your stomach into your small intestine. All right, small intestine, made up of the duodenum and the jejunum and ileum, which breaks down the food even further. Food stays in your small intestines typically 3 to 8 hours, depending on the food and depending on your body's digestive system. Then it goes into your large intestine. This large intestine frames the small intestine and leads to the rectum and anus. One of its main focus is to just absorb fluid. So really your body's already absorbed all of the nutrients and stuff in the small intestine, and that's why probably also why it takes so long for it to move through there. It's pulling all of that good stuff out, gets into your large intestine, that pulls the fluid out so that you can create waste. Auxiliary organs. So your pancreas produces and secretes enzymes and insulin. Your liver creates bile, and your gallbladder holds the bile and works with the enzymes and the insulin to regulate this whole system. So when we eat something, we talked a little bit about this and the bliss point and all of that. When food tastes, like the taste of food creates and stimulates and causes a pleasure response. So I think that it's important to remember when you're chewing that chewing is important, and make sure you chew thoroughly and be very mindful of the chewing and the tastes and all of that stuff. I think that it sort of tricks your brain eventually into not necessarily believing you're fuller or that you're eating more, but that you are satisfied because of all those tastes, the pleasure response. All right, moving right along. Fat and obesity. these are some of those words I think I probably could have put on the front slide, but I didn't want to make anybody feel bad because these are words that are the gross. But facts are facts, and that's all I'm sharing here. The obesity rate has tripled since 1975. And I got a lot of this information from books and stuff that I've read. I took definitions from Wikipedia, but I didn't necessarily do a lot of Googling. I didn't do a lot of YouTube searching. I just really want to share like scientific facts. And I have been taking a nutrition basics course. So a lot of this other information in combination with the other stuff I just listed, resources I just listed, comes from this professor. So she quotes, "Sitting is killing people faster than smoking." And honestly, I think that there's something to be said about that because I love to eat food, and I don't think that it's necessarily, I don't think it's ideal or healthy for me to restrict myself a lot. And because I like to eat, that just sets myself up for failure. What I do need to and could focus a little bit more on is movement of the body. We sit, and we eat and eat a lot. We consume a bunch of calories. We and then just sit on our butts, watch TV. We mindlessly eat, and it's killing people faster than smoking. So just a few fun facts, if we can call it fun. There is such thing as good fat, and we actually have good fat. Essential fat is bone marrow, cushion for your heart, lungs, liver, etc., our internal organs. And it keeps them nice and cozy and tucked away and warm. Women typically have 12% essential fat, and men have 3% essential fat. There's a lot of factors that go into that, mostly reproduction, having babies, but doesn't make it fair. And there is also, so storage fat is the not so ideal fat. It's an energy reserve, and it accumulates under the skin. It's subcutaneous. So that's where we get the cellulite and all of that, those lovely terms. It's subcutaneous storage fat. Not so fun fact, fat cells can expand as much as 1,000 times. That's disgusting. Okay. Obesity really is abdominal fat accumulation, and it is caused by eating too much and not moving. We're just talking about that. Did you know, though, more fat means you have more muscle? Like, that's just, the bigger you are, the more muscle you have to support the bigger you are. So that's just interesting. It is much easier to lose weight than to maintain the weight loss. And I don't know about anybody else that has lost weight in the past. It is a constant battle. It's not something necessarily that you do once and you never have to do again. Although if you are one of those people, please tell me your secrets, because I have fluctuated for many years, and just basically I have fluctuated in having more muscle. I have, based on what I was doing at that time in my life, I have fluctuated based on like diet restrictions and trying these, fad diets and that kind of stuff, and really, slimming down that way. But I can very much relate to this statistic. In one study, less than 54% of the people were able to maintain the weight that they lost. Which is sad because it's such hard work. Moving on. Now we get to the fun stuff. It's the complex stuff, though, so don't get scared. Vitamins, minerals, macronutrients, micronutrients. What are they? What does it all mean? I mean, seriously. Because it's overwhelming. I mean, it's hard to even to even remember what like all the vitamins are and what what foods contain what vitamins, what minerals. And then they came out with this micronutrient thing, and it's just so macronutrient. I'm sorry. Yeah, macronutrient. Those are these things that are listed here. Macronutrients are the things that your body needs in a big amount. So think macro, big, micro, little, big, little, big, little. Macronutrients consist of protein, fats, carbohydrates, and fiber. There are foods, interestingly enough, that are all three, such as milk, protein bars. Watch the labels on those. Nuts, Greek cream cheese. I don't really know. I wonder if regular cream cheese is. There are foods that have protein and fat. Ground beef, steak, pork chops. This is like your meat, eggs, cottage cheese, that kind of stuff. Beans and legumes and fat-free dairy, sprouted greens, green vegetables, split peas because they're not technically a legume. Sorry, I don't think legumes are on that list. It's just beans, split peas, quinoa. Those are protein and carbohydrates. So it's cool if you can try to incorporate foods that have all of these things, foods that have protein, foods that have fat. If you combine those things, it helps your body to absorb those certain macronutrients. But then also with these macronutrients, you will probably be incorporating micronutrients, which we'll get to on the next slide. But all of these things in conjunction help your body to absorb. It creates more bioavailability for these macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, all of that stuff, the protein, the fat, the carbs, the fiber. It just helps your body. It's synergistic. So don't get too overwhelmed with this. But if you do want to count your macros, there's lots of apps for macro counting and, you know, all that. It's kind of complex, but it's fun. It's fun to learn. Micronutrients. These are your vitamins, minerals, trace elements, amino acids. There's lists right here. So these are from Google, but you can do your own research. I was just trying to find visual representations of foods that contain these certain micronutrients. So for instance, vitamin C is in a lot of citrus stuff. So down there on that list, you can see there's a lemon there. And on the opposite side, there's a list of the benefits for these just a few of the vitamins, not all of the vitamins. But I think it's cool to know these things because then if you are having acne or a skin breakout, maybe increasing your vitamin A intake by eating, more pineapple or, that kind of stuff, you can naturally incorporate the stuff into your diet to help fix these issues that we have. And I think it's so empowering to know this stuff and to just know that it's all in your hands too. I think it's empowering and it brings me lots of joy. So again, macronutrients and micronutrients, they work together, and ideally you balance your diet with lots of good macronutrients and micronutrients and a combination of them. Let's see, is there anything interesting in here? Anything at all? Any group of organic compounds which are essential for normal growth and nutrition and are required in small quantities in the diet because they cannot be synthesized by the body. Minerals. Oh, sorry, that's vitamins. That's the definition of vitamins. Minerals, an inorganic substance needed by the human body for good health. Macro is a type of food required in large amounts. A micro is a chemical element or substance required in trace amounts for the normal growth and development of living organisms. We would ideally aim for 5 different fruits and vegetables each day. If you can get up to 10, it offers significant health benefits. Low calories. Fruits and vegetables are low in calories and are very nutrient dense. Cruciferous, I said it right, cruciferous vegetables, which are Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, those kinds of things. They're called that because their flowers resemble a cross. I thought that was super interesting. I've never seen a flower, but so it's a cruciferous plant. They are very anti-inflammatory. They offer lots of cancer protection and detox the liver. So if you can up your cruciferous vegetable intake, there's lots of ideal health benefits for that. Okay, so I think that's it for now. There are a lot of interesting and educational tips and tricks on here. I just want to talk a little bit quickly about micronutrient deficiencies and how sometimes even heavier people seem very hungry all the time. It's called hidden hunger, and it's likely because they are deficient in in certain micro or macronutrients. And this doesn't necessarily have to be overweight people. This could be very thin people too, and that could be potentially why they have an inability to gain weight. So any nutrient consumed in excess can turn into fat. I think that that's important to know, that you can't just necessarily eat 100,000 pounds of avocados just because they're natural and not, a vegetable or a fruit or whatever you would consider them. They still can pose risks and stuff like that. So you need to take all of that stuff into consideration. Any nutrient consumed in excess can turn into fat. We should try to get 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week. Aim to get 75 minutes of vigorous exercise a week. So if you don't feel like you have 150 minutes every week to walk, to maybe do some yoga, to do some moderate exercise, then maybe run or do HIIT workouts. You can do this vigorous 75 minutes even in one day. I have a friend who did it all in just one day. She danced hard, techno, drum and bass, dancing for 75 minutes straight. And she said it was very interesting, the way it made her feel, and all of the good feel good chemicals that came after that, and then the relief that she had also for not having to do it anymore. This is interesting and probably should have been shared on the fat and obesity page, but there are 2 different kinds of fat. There's white fat, which is all over. It stores energy, cushions, and insulates your organs and all of that stuff. Brown fat is usually on your back and your scapular and subscapular. This fat expels energy and regulates heat. Visceral fat is fat around the belly, creating this apple shape. It can lead to diabetes. It has a lot of increased inflammation, and even leads to a higher morbidity rate. So just being mindful. The gynoid fat is when you have a pear shape. This is often women in their childbearing years. We carry extra fat and stuff around our hips and thighs and glutes so that we can prepare the body for pregnancy. I think it is important to check your body mass index. I don't think it's something you should beat yourself up on, but there's lots of different ways you can calculate that. Do your research, figure out which way you think might work best for you. There's really easy ones that you can just put in your height and your weight on a calculator, and it will calculate what your BMI is. But I will warn you that you're probably I'm in the obese range, and it didn't feel very good when I saw that. But as I've gone through my weight loss journey and learned about all of this stuff, I think that it has been really empowering, and I am less hard on myself now when I look at that, because I do know that it has gone smaller. The percentage has gone down, and it's not easy to do. So I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of me, and just use it to educate yourself, not to be hard on yourself. Okay, tips and tricks. Lemons are considered one of the world's healthiest foods. One lemon contains your daily dose of vitamin C. It cleanses the liver, boosts your immunity, and aids in weight loss. Drink lemon water. It's good. It's good for you. Drink warm lemon water even, and that's, I don't know if it's better, but it probably helps. Your warm is less shocking to your system. So if it's warmer, if you drink warm lemon and key lime juice, you can also help to rid the body of mucus. And key limes are high in vitamin C as well, and so that's good for immunity, especially with all the stuff that's going on right now. We need all the help we can get. Asparagus is a good source of vitamin A, C, E, B complex, and potassium and zinc. So asparagus is one of those things that has a lot of good stuff in it. So if you can have asparagus with your eggs, remember that slide? Ooh, that sounds good. That would be really, that would be good for you. An avocado has more than twice as much potassium as a banana. I think that's interesting because not a lot of people like bananas, and potassium is something that is obviously good for you, but I think that we lack. And so if you get headaches or if you're stressed out, eat a banana or an avocado, and it's said to help boost your mood. Kale contains lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect the eyes from macular degeneration. Broccoli contains twice the vitamin C of an orange and almost as much calcium as whole milk, and the calcium is better absorbed because it's natural. It's more bioavailable. It's a plant. It's not processed, and like milk is also good for you, but it's still pasteurized and all that stuff. So eat more broccoli. Going back up to kale, sorry, I did write the definitions to this. To what lutein is, the deep yellow pigment of the xanthophyll class, found in the leaves of plants, in egg yolks, and in the corpus luteum. Zeaxanthin is a carotenoid present in the retina of the eye and in many plants, used as a food additive and supplement. So you can find this like not naturally occurring, but naturally occurring is so much better. And I just got my see if macular degeneration is something that runs in your family, and if so, eat more kale. The only vitamin in an apple is potassium and pectin, which is super interesting to me, but they have high levels of plant chemicals and flavonoids. Oh. Cherry tomatoes and watermelons are great mood foods. Tomatoes are actually berries. I think this is super interesting, and I don't know why I'm so intrigued by the whole fruit, vegetable, berry debacle. But here you go. Berries are defined as fruit that comes from a single ovary, like a grape. Strawberries are accessory fruits, which means that the seeds are on the outside. Raspberries and blackberries are aggregate fruits, which means every fruit is its own ovary. These seeds contain the highest amount of phytochemicals, which rid our bodies of neurotoxins. Iodine is a nutrient all animals need, and it can only be obtained through your diet. It is essential for a healthy thyroid, regulating metabolism. So that's why salt was started to be chemically redefined. They added iodine into our salt because they realized that we weren't getting enough iodine in our diet. So that's why there's iodine salt or iodinized salt, and that's why we use it. And you probably should use it because we need iodine unless you're eating a lot of fish, and that causes its own issues and things you need to watch out for. So another fun fact, carotenoid is a class of mainly yellow, orange, or red fat-soluble pigments, including carotene, which give color to plants such as ripe tomatoes and autumn leaves. They are terpenoids based on a structure having the formula C40H56. Scientists, give me some feedback on that. Okay, moving on. Protein is the Greek word, we made the word protein from the Greek word proteus, or in the lead. So we really do need more protein than anything in our diets. The size of a matchbox is considered 1 unit. So if you can imagine a matchbox, and that is approximately 1 ounce, which is approximately 7 grams of protein. You should have approximately 3 units per meal, and that should give you approximately enough protein. When shopping, fill your cart with most things from the outer edges of the store, especially if you're in big box stores like Walmart or Safeway, King Soopers, things like that. These are all the fresh items, and think about it right now in your head. What's along the edges? Bread, produce, usually the refrigerators for like the eggs and the milk and cheese and that sort of stuff. Fill your basket with most things from those outer edges. And then, we do need some processed stuff, so don't necessarily, you don't have to completely not go in those aisles, but you can just get minimal stuff. And if you don't have enough room in your cart after you filled it with all of this fresh stuff, then that's better. And also your plate. So if you think about your plate when you're planning your meals, you can add a little bit more nutrition. I gave one example here, zucchini in spaghetti sauce. That's one thing that my family has done recently to beef up the nutrients in our meals. One of the first things that we did to do this was we love mashed potatoes, and so we started doing half potato, half cauliflower, and mashing that up and preparing them just like regular mashed potatoes. What we found is that we like the mashed cauliflower better than the potato anyway, and eventually kind of just nixed the potatoes. Potatoes aren't necessarily bad for you. They just don't have a lot of nutrients in there. They're pretty starchy. So if you can mix and match some things and maybe even sort of trick your body into eating these healthier things, the more you eat them, the more the pleasure hormones will be released, and your body knows that it felt good after you ate that last thing. So again, you're going to retrain your brain into just having these healthier habits. Choosing low fat and unsweetened. So if you do need to, we need to get yogurt or cheese or things like that. Getting low fat and unsweetened is the best option. It doesn't usually happen that way in processed food. It's sugar and that stuff is a preservative. So all those things in the aisles are things that can sit on those shelves for months probably, and probably have, honestly. So you're going to find high sugar and high fat because, or if it's low fat, it will be high sugar because that's how it's preserved. Fat is also a preservative. So low fat yogurt often has a incredibly high amount of sugar because it still needs to be preserved, and so they have to add the sugar in order to preserve it because you took the fat out. So full fat is actually probably almost better for you if you're thinking about it in terms like that. Also, if you're thinking about cottage cheese and sour cream and those kind of things as well. Another fun fact, add pumpkin or squash to soup, not only to bulk the nutrients, but to bulk up the consistency of it, and it creates a delicious creaminess. I have just recently, begun to love squash, so I'm going to use this tip myself. When making your plate, fill it with mostly vegetables. And in fact, use vegetables as your main course if you can. So instead of having a side salad, have salad with a side of pizza. The rest, fill the rest of fill the plate with a lot of colors and add a side of protein or carbs. So really, if you have a circle, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. And remember, we discussed having at least 5 different colors if we can, or a combination of colors. And then half of that other side should be your protein, and half of that side, the last half, the remaining quarter, will be grain or a starch. So that's where your mashed potatoes could come in, or your piece of bread. I mean, I'm a sucker for a sandwich, a good sandwich, even a grilled cheese sandwich. Oh man. But if you, instead of having a grilled cheese sandwich with a side salad, you have salad with like maybe even half of a grilled cheese, your body, you still get to enjoy the grilled cheese, but you're also getting the benefit of all these other amazing fruits and vegetables and micronutrients and minerals and all that good stuff. Also, having a little bit of fat is crucial for a diet. So healthy fat, coconut butter is good, unsaturated if possible. So this can be your avocado. I'm trying to think of some other avocado oil, things like that. And if you can boost your omegas, you will just be happier. I promise. It's a feel good nutrient for your brain. You can get this in oily fish, you can get it in eggs, you can get it also in flaxseed. That's a very popular one. And in wrapping all of this up, I think we have just 2 more slides. So this is interesting. And this wheel right here, the food color wheel, talks about the different colors of fruits and vegetables, what makes them that color, and what they are good for. So, for instance, green contains chlorophyll, which is the chemical that plants use to live, I'm pretty sure. Fiber, lutein, zeaxanthin, magnesium, calcium, folate, vitamin C, and beta-carotene, which inhibit the action of carcinogens and promote healthy bodily function. So obviously eating green, very detoxifying, super good for you. Purple and blue contains phytochemicals such as anthocyanins and phenolics, which are powerful antioxidants which help reduce the risk of diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and Alzheimer's, improve memory and cell communication, and slow the process of aging. This is why it's so important to get those different colors on your plate, okay? White contains beta-glucans, e.g. EGCG, SDG, flavonoids, alicon, and lignans, which activate natural killer B and T cells, support immunity, and balance hormone levels. Red contains nutrients such as lycopene, ellagic acid, quercetin, and hesperidin. These nutrients reduce the risk of prostate cancer, lower blood pressure, reduce tumor growth and cholesterol levels, scavenge harmful free radicals, and support joint tissue in cases of arthritis. Orange contains beta-carotene, zeaxanthin, flavonoids, lycopene, potassium, and vitamin C. These nutrients reduce age-related macular degeneration, talked about that already, and risk of prostate cancer. Lower cholesterol and blood pressure, promote collagen formation and healthy joints. Collagen isn't just for your skin, it's actually like in your joints also. Fights harmful free radicals, encourages alkaline balance. So it balances your body, balances the acidity, repairs damaged DNA, and works with magnesium and calcium. So if you can eat eggs and drink some orange juice, that's going to be more beneficial than if you ate them separately. Yellow contains I'm not even going to try to say that one, and carotenoids, lutein, and zeaxanthin, which support intercellular communications, prevent heart disease, reduce the risk of cataracts, and age-related macular degeneration. So it looks like yellow and orange are some things I should start eating more of. Foods best for immunity. Citrus fruits, garlic, red peppers, broccoli, almond, spinach, kiwi, apple, papaya, turmeric, ginger. These are all foods that are high in vitamin C, and also, yeah, the vitamin C. Kiwi is super high in vitamin C. Foods best for the heart. Berries, salmon, carrots, oranges, sweet potatoes, nuts, avocados, green fruits, etc. That's fun. Foods best for the brain. Green veggies, broccoli, fatty fish, berries, blueberries, pomegranate, nuts, etc. And eggs. Remember? We talked about that earlier. So this, I think, is super cool and just an interesting way to look at your diet and ways that you might be able to incorporate different things. New and fun things. This is just a bunch of random stuff I thought you would be interested to know. It's just a frequently asked questions page. I didn't know how to just compile a little bit of a lot of random information. Okay, clean eating is not evidence-based. I think this is important to know. And in fact, an obsession with clean eating can lead to this orthorexia nervosa, a fear and obsession with eating biologically pure and healthy foods. Don't get too overwhelmed with it. Just do what you can, and don't develop this big head about it either. Superfoods are nutrient-dense foods and really could be any food. So I think, again, we need to remember the hype that the media creates around this stuff. There's a lot of information that comes at us all the time. Nutrition questions and diet information, all of that is like the number one, if not, it is one of the number one, if not the number one Googled thing. So, a functional food is a whole food, which means it's beneficial. It can be fruits, veggies, flax, legumes, oils, fish, nuts, yogurt, soy. So functional foods are whole foods. Whole foods are good for you. I think that's just kind of common. It's kind of common sense. A superfood is just a marketing term. It really can be any food. So you don't have to buy into the hype. A superfood is a superfood is just a food that is super nutrient dense. So like kale is a superfood, but so is an apple, really. If you're thinking about it, so is asparagus. All foods provide some level of physiological function, some sort of energy and nutrients, calories. So interesting though. Ancient grains are largely unchanged over the last 100 years. So like whole grains, not all whole grains are ancient grains. Whole wheat, I believe. I know that wild rice is an ancient grain that we don't use a lot of. I mean, it's been unchanged for the last 100 years. It's delicious too, by the way. Sprouted grains are is a whole grain soaked and germinated, which increases key nutrients and bioavailability. Almost done. There is no global consensus of organic. So I think that that's important to know. Don't beat yourself up about not being able to afford or find organic food. Again, it is more important to eat more fruits and vegetables than it is to only eat organic fruits and vegetables. Oftentimes, organic fruits and vegetables are much more expensive, but traditionally similar in regard to vitamins and minerals. There's a small difference in health benefits, and eating more is still better than only eating organic. Okay. I will talk about the Dirty Dozen very quickly. These are said to have more pesticides than all the other fruits and vegetables. So consuming pesticides is probably not good. But that's not the only thing that necessarily goes into being organic. Like being organic also has to do with the soil and rotating the crops. And, you know, again, there's no global consensus of what this means. So it really could mean a lot of different things. Non-GMO, no pesticides, and, you know, that kind of stuff. It still is probably a good idea to soak your fruits and vegetables, especially if you're going to be eating the outer layer. Bananas probably don't need to wash them. Maybe soak them for a second, but you're not going to be eating the skin. So, but like an apple, you probably should soak that and make sure that you get the stuff off of it. There's even wax and stuff on produce. So it's not just chemicals or pesticides and, you know, that kind of stuff. It can be wax. Other people's that have touched it, you don't know. Like, we just need to wash our stuff. Dirty Dozen: apples, celery, peaches, grapes, nectarines, lettuce, strawberries, sweet bell peppers, spinach, cucumber, blueberries, potatoes, kale, cherries, and hot peppers. Okay. Almond milk is a big fad. It's terrible for our environment. It is actually mostly water, only 2% almond paste, so it has very little nutritional content. It's not that good for you, but it's a big fad. It is it's a dairy alternative, so I'm certainly not saying don't consume it, but there are other alternatives out there to dairy and cow milk if that's what you're looking for. Coconut milk, interestingly enough, has no calcium. So if you're looking for, well, I think people use almond milk because it has calcium, but and is a good milk alternative in that regard. But if that's what you're looking for, coconut milk is not the way to go. All right, last one. Resources. Go to your local library, check out some books, read some stuff. You will be so amazed at what you can find there and how your just awareness will start to expand, and it's fun to empower yourself with that information. Free online courses. I'm taking one right now. There's nothing wrong with free. In fact, I'm taking an online course it's free now, and it was originally given to Yale students. So like, that's a win for me. I'm a great resource and I would love to connect. Please follow me, reach out, let me know if you have questions. There's a ton of apps. There is YouTube videos galore and a lot of information on social media. However, I would advise you to not take everything that you see on there as absolute 100% truth, and try to decide for yourself. There are a few things I'd like to read from this happiness diet book. I would like to talk about a recipe or two and give you a few little interesting did you know tips from the 100 Best Health Foods book that I got a lot of this information from. Having each meal be about 300 calories is a good way to gauge, and if you're looking to lose weight, then it's a good that's a good goal. The happiness diet here, great resource. There's lots of recipes in here as well. Quickly though, before we talk about that, I do want to talk about supplements and why maybe you would need to supplement, and why, if you do need to supplement, why quality supplements are going to be the best option. I would venture to say that if you're not going to get quality supplements, then you just should spend your money on getting more fruits and vegetables and nutrient-dense foods. Quality supplements are going to, your body's going to recognize them. The generic supplements that you find at Walmart, things like that, they're made in, they're man-made. It's man-made chemicals that are manufactured to look like vitamin C. Your body does not recognize them. In fact, one of the most common things floating on top of sewage in the underground sewage system is undigested supplements. So again, if you're not going to get quality supplements, I would just suggest not getting any at all. Get some more apples and oranges and bananas and get your nutrients that way. Your body recognizes real food. I am a rep for Shaklee. This is not a Shaklee pitch, but the Shaklee difference is every Shaklee product is 100% guaranteed. We believe in the safety and proven performance of all of our products. If you're not satisfied with any of our products, you can send them back to us for a full refund, even if the container is empty. Over 100,000 quality tests are conducted each year to ensure our products are safe. They are not only safe, they are natural, they are bioavailable. Your body understands what they are, and your body absorbs them completely. Been around for 100 years. Not kidding. There are a few mentions, honorable mentions right here. The Vitally was the first multivitamin in the United States. It's been a little bit reformatted since then, but still same concepts. Omegas are pharmaceutical grade. A probiotic is triple coated, guaranteed to get down into the gut. Protein is vegan and non-GMO on the label. Greens and alfalfa complex is lots of that chlorophyll that we talked about, and peppermint to help aid in digestion. So if you want some more information about that, let me know. And you can get, that's not the only place you can get quality supplements. You can get like mid-grade supplements at places like Whole Foods, things like that. But just make sure that you're checking, reading the labels, and just spending your money wisely, using your resources wisely. I think that it might be difficult to share some of these recipes, like the details of them, but I think that it's important. It'll be cool to show you guys what a 300 calorie meal would look like. So I'm trying to find one that I would. So here's a berry rhubarb muffins, and it looks like one muffin is 300 calories. Flour, flaxseed, baking soda, butter, a little bit of sugar, brown sugar, egg, vanilla, rhubarb, and strawberries. That sounds pretty good. Also, homemade stuff is always going to be less calories. Poached eggs and tomato sauce. Seeing what a lot of these recipes are doing is combining those macronutrients and those micronutrients to have the best combination of nutrients. So that's, eating the eggs with the tomatoes, eating eggs with cheese is really good. Did you know frozen peas are usually frozen within hours of harvesting and can often contain more vitamin C and other nutrients than fresh peas in their pods, which may be several days old. So frozen peas are probably more fresh than if you were to get peas and pea the pod yourself. Let's see. Did you know that any squash, so don't throw away your squash seeds. They can be dried in an oven on a low heat and eaten the same way as pumpkin seeds. They are super good for you, high in zinc and all of that good stuff. Let's see, one more. A very high intake of carrots can cause the skin to appear orange. It's called carotenemia, and it's a harmless condition. I don't know anybody that's eaten too many carrots. That's another thing I didn't particularly enjoy much of until I got older. So again, a little bit more into this food synergy, your food working synergistically together. So raspberries and chocolate, interestingly enough, scientists have discovered that when raspberries and chocolates are paired together, their disease-fighting flavonoids, quercetin in raspberries and catechin in chocolate, are even more effective at thinning the blood and improving heart health. Tomatoes and olive oil. Cancer and heart disease fighting compounds called carotenoids are found in abundance in tomatoes. They're fat soluble and as such, they're more available to your body when you eat them with fats like olive oil or mozzarella cheese. So those mozzarella balls with the tomato and the olive oil drizzled, ooh, not only is it delicious, but it is nutritious. Bananas and yogurts. Bananas contain inulin, which research indicates fuels the growth of yogurt's healthy bacteria, which helps regulate digestion and boosts immunity. I just think this stuff is so interesting, you guys, and there's a ton more of those in this book. Last one, onions and garlic. The oregano sulfur compounds in garlic and onions are more powerful in combination than alone. Together, they'll help remove plaque from arteries and keep blood vessels flexible and healthy. So go ahead and pick up some of your own resources, and once you find these awesome tips and tricks that you can't wait to share with somebody, please send them over to me. I would love to hear about them. All right, that's it. And thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't received the Playbook Trifold that is works in conjunction with this recording, please let me know. You can opt in with your email address, and that will get you the trifold, and you'll also be able to stay up to date with more useful tips and tricks. I have a lot of stuff coming up, so please follow me on Facebook, Christine Eckley, Christine with a K, Eckley. I have a personal page, I have a business page, I have a Facebook group. I have events on Eventbrite, and I'm really just working towards growing my audience and connecting and creating a pretty vital community. So I welcome your feedback and collaboration. There's lots of exciting stuff on the horizon, so I welcome you to join and follow along. And until next time, have a lovely, lovely day.